Right now, when it comes to sports content creation, we have an existential crisis on our hands. And no, I'm not referring to professional studios that tend to do this little song and dance of trying to pretend that they are like these small scale content creators, but in reality, they have great and immense financial resources backing the channel. I'm not referring to that. I'm not saying that's not a problem that we're experiencing, but I don't think that's an existential crisis. What I think the actual existential crisis is, it's AI slop. Yes, as sports content creators, the age of AI slop is upon us. When I refer to AI slop, guys, I'm not talking about people who use AI tools in order to do things such as, like, produce a thumbnail, come up with titles, even help them script things, right? To try to get the creative juices flowing, if you will. I think all that stuff is within reason, as long as you're not like reading word for word from a AI generated script. That's not what I'm referring to, guys. That is the least of our problems. I'm referring to these channels that are now emerging that are 100% produced, edited, meaning the B-roll, the music you hear behind it, and even the narration, the script, is all 100% AI. And what I think is the kicker, what's going to be the breaking point, is going to make this become an existential crisis for us, is the fact that what happens when they start to replicate plays that didn't occur. They never happened. But these algorithms, okay, this AI slop is really good at doing one thing in particular: predicting human emotion. They know what we pay attention to. They have enough data behind them to know what will trigger us. And if you don't care about the truth, if you don't care about adequately presenting evidence, then you're just going to try to gather the views and you're going to try to invoke emotion out of people. And before long, we are not going to know what is real and what is fake. It's going to take like extensive amounts of research to make sure the thing that you're getting pissed off about is an actual play that occurred in an actual game and isn't some AI-generated bullcrap. That's the fear that I had. That's what I think could be the real existential crisis, is what happens when you get a controversial figure like Jalen Hurts, and then you get a business model that really only cares about engagement and being able to get advertisers on it, does not care about the truth, does not actually care about sports journalism, but wants the emotion. So it will start to create plays that will invoke emotion because they know they've got a player that you can either rally the troops to defend or you can bring the haters out. And by the way, to these people, they don't give a damn what it is that you believe. They don't care if you're support or against this person. They only care that they got you to click the video and they captured your attention. They have your eyes. That's the existential crisis, as I understand it, that we are legitimately facing now. Like, this is a real damn problem in the actual sports content creation field. Like, be ready. It's coming. This has already happened in other genres, guys. If you go search anything that is a drama-based, good, feel-good story, right? Like, this person got, what they had coming to them. That type of genre, right? The things that make you feel good. My boss fired me, and this is what happened to him following my firing. Bro, that's all AI slop. It's all AI slop at this point, right? Even, a thing that I hold dear to my heart, something that I worked as a historic interpreter myself before, and I taught social studies. The history genre. Holy AI slop, my guys. It's everywhere. It is permeating these fields. And I thought, you know what? It's not in the football field yet, right? It's not in sports content creation yet. And then I started to see it. And I'm going to point out one channel in particular to you just to demonstrate and to show you guys. It's here. Brace yourself. We're dealing with the age of AI slop in terms of sports content creation. I bring you guys the Eagles Insider Daily. Welcome to the AI slop here. Breaking news. The Eagles say goodbye to 3 key players in massive roster shakeup. Guys, we all know that you tend to exaggerate titles. It's this game we play to where we're clickbaiting you a little bit, but it's not complete clickbait. Normally, when you click inside the video, while we may have taken the claim to its most crazy ends or extremes because that's what captures attention, generally speaking, we're still talking about the topic we've presented, right? Now you're looking at this where they know what words invoke emotion, guys, and they bring you in and they make up a lot of crap. I mean, we can share, things about trades. We can share our opinions, right? We can give our perspectives that could be completely wrong. I think that's one thing. It's another thing when you're purposely doing this just to get people inside there to get a click and you know that it's bullcrap. I think that's particularly harmful. I think you can present your title in a way that brings both sides of the argument inside there, but once they're in the actual video, you should definitely be stating your true opinion on whether or not you think something is a likelihood. AI slop is upon us, guys, and this is just the basis. This is that base level, right? That really, really, it's not that harmful. We can tell the difference right now. I'm telling you guys, it's going to eventually start having these damn plays in there that are fake plays. They're going to start to create narratives, and that's going to be the problem, is knowing what is a real and what is a true narrative versus what is AI slop. What is the bullcrap narratives? It concerns me for the future, guys. I can only explain this from the world that I came up in. All right, guys, the world that I came up in, man, when I was first introduced to things that were artistic expression, it was largely through my father. My father introduced me to a lot of the Southern rock bands, right? The Allman Brothers, groups like that, Bad Company, Molly Hatchet, right? And then from there, I found the things that were local to the area that I grew up in, right? So I'm talking about things such as like George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers, Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi, the things that are local to the area in which I grew up in, which then eventually expanded into, me making friends and having older siblings and older family members that were just slightly older than me, introduced me into other genres. So, for me, and we're talking the 90s, guys, that was being introduced to things such as like Cypress Hill, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Wu-Tang, and of course, the things that everyone says. Obviously Tupac Shakur, obviously Biggie. But I remember these big, crazy historical moments, guys. I am of the age to where I was graduating high school, moving into my first real, steps as an adult. That's when the Eminem show first dropped. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember trying to get to Best Buy and get that freaking CD? By the way, I went there over Memorial Day weekend when it first dropped, and I remember the lines trying to get in there and go get this album, because at this time, we thought it was the biggest thing in the world that this album had already leaked. Months ahead of time, it had leaked. Well, welcome to the age of LimeWire for you youngsters that don't know what we're talking about. And that was a big to-do, guys. I lived through that. I had that, that experience. I remember going to different genres, guys. I remember the first time that I really got a chance to start watching Quentin Tarantino films. You guys remember Reservoir Dogs? Talking about the 90s, guys? Pulp Fiction? Man, there are lines from that film I could repeat word for word if it didn't get me demonetized. I remember being able to sit down and watch the culture and the environment in which I was coming up in. Okay? Hell, I remember recently, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, another Quentin Tarantino film. Loved it. One of my favorite films to this very day to watch. I have never had my mind blown by a movie like that before, where I did not see that ending coming. The Django Unchained, Quentin Tarantino, right, guys? One of my favorite ones, The Hateful Eight. I wasn't big on the Kill Bill stuff. My wife's more of the Kill Bill type. But I remember these big iconic moments in the culture. I remember living through these things, guys. My fear is for the world that we're leaving behind us, for our, the younger generations coming up. How much of this world is going to be, distorted culturally because of AI slop? We dealt with our own struggles and our own battles coming up. No doubt about it. We had things that challenged our artistic expression. But for these young kids that are coming up, I think we're legitimately dealing with an existential crisis. Hey, man, when I finally decided to open up and make a YouTube channel, I had a lot of people that I could look to who had already been here expressing their artwork. There were the Lord Brunsons of the world. There was the Philly 500s of the world, the Joey Shakes of the world, these pioneers that came before us. Right? Those guys were already here when I'll be Mike and I started our channels about a month apart from each other from the Philly Talk podcast. It's one of my closest friends in this space, guys. We had people that we could look to see like these independent content creators, right? And I know that there's been a lot of shit in here about like the professional, studios like, WIP and Jacob Sports and Philly Sports, NBC Philly, Inside the Birds, right? These professional studios essentially. But I don't think that they're the enemy. If anything, I think that now we're in an age to where even the guys that are working as professional, journalists that are in this new world, this new AI slop world, who probably never thought they would have to align themselves with independent content creators, I think now they have to. I think now we kind of need each other. Because I think what is coming is going to be a major problem for sports. Guys, I have no idea what's going to be around the corner, what's going to be around the bend. I have no idea how this is all going to resolve itself. But I will say this. I am genuinely concerned as I fit into what I would probably call the film guys. That's the genre of sports content creation that I think I fit in, best with. That's your guys like Top Billin'. That's your Matty Dubs, Breaking the Birds, Locked on Eagles. Like all of us kind of come up out of this like film, all 22, coaches tape kind of realm of things. And we follow some of the bigger guys like the Jackson Kruger Sports, Football Scout, Brett Coleman, Kurt Warner's quarterback confidential, my bad guys, and JT O'Sullivan's quarterback school. We follow all those guys. We follow in the footsteps of those guys. We're not unique or independent or new, right? I mean, we're independent. I shouldn't have said that, but we're not unique or new. I mean, these guys have been in this space before most of us started our channels, or were coexisting alongside of us for some of us that have had channels for many years at this point. It concerns me because how do I do my job if I've got people out here running salacious headlines? I kind of have to play the game or I'm screwed. But then how do I do my job if people are making salacious headlines and then following it up with fake film that doesn't exist? It didn't come from a game. I'm not saying that's occurring currently, guys. I'm saying that I think that's the natural progression of what's going to happen. Critiques and criticism that invoke emotion on players like Jalen Hurts that are being dubbed out of AI scripts and generated. They're using these generation tools to generate content that didn't occur. Highlights from games that didn't happen. To critique and criticize and to get eyes on and views. And then you live in a world it's not actually the real world. What do you do? All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all's time and attention, guys. That's what I got for you, man. I just had to get this. I had to get these thoughts down, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And then on top of that, guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing on these videos, guys. And for all you guys that are hitting that hype button, it helps grow the channel, guys, and it is greatly appreciated. But with that said, guys, I'm going to get up out of here, man. If you guys want further content, I'll throw you up, one piece up to your left corner. I'll throw you up another piece of content to your right corner, so that way you can get to know the channel a little better. And with that said, guys, peace. I'm out of here.